What's going on? It's Wednesday, y'all. How we doing? We had hump day. Hope everybody's had a good start to the lunch and the week. And everybody is trying to get over the Jason Kelce speech. uh must admit, was a little teary-eyed. Um, I'll tell you what, man, there is something to be said when you put that much emotion into what you're doing. And it showed, and you can tell when people are genuine and you get a sense of how much that hurt, because that is a very emotional, psychological um, thing when you have to walk away. Now, I will say this: Jason Kelce, being a center anywhere on that offensive line, but let alone a center, to have the opportunity to walk away. And what I mean by that is he walked away from the game. The game didn't spit him out. Jason Peters, the game keeps spitting him out. Kept trying to come back, couldn't stay healthy. Um, there are numerous hundreds of other cases where you tearing knees, popping Achilles, and things of that nature. You cannot stay healthy. And that's what I mean when the game spits you out. You have to retire when you might not be ready to retire. And because of CTE and things like that, you see a lot more players that are retiring early. Played 5-6 years and they're out. They made their couple million, got it in the bank, taking care of business, and walking away and deciding to do other things. But Jason Kelce, just being in that situation where he's able uh, to successfully walk away from his career, no injuries, no rehab and knees. I know they said on his show or whatever on his podcast, he talked about not being able to pick up his kids and hold them for a long period of time because his back will lock up. Well, you're going to get the nicks and bruises and aches and pains and all of that kind of stuff that comes with it. That'll get better in time when he's not banging every week. That'll naturally heal up. He'll probably lose a little bit of weight depending on how much beer he drinks. But for the most part, he's in good shape. He's in good shape. I tell people all the time, I will never forget. Now, and also I played with the Fridge, William Refrigerator Perry. He was with the Eagles in '93 when I was there. And he was still the Fridge. He wasn't in his heyday. It was at the end of his career. But he was still the Fridge. I grew up watching him in the '85 Bears and everything that happened with that. So it was a big deal to me that he was on the team. But I remember seeing a special about him, and now it had to be, I don't know, 10 years ago or more, where they were just showing how bad, how much trouble he had moving around, getting from point A to point B. Knees were bad, just different things like that, and the struggles he was going through just to move. And it is something to be said when you can walk away from the game. I I didn't play long in the NFL. I like to tell people I had a cup of coffee, but it was my cup of coffee. But what people tend to forget, whether you had a long career or not, especially when I played in the '90s. If you played in the '90s, doesn't matter if you was there for a year or 3 years. When you were in camp, you banged. And if you were not a high draft pick, you probably got the brunt of it because you were basically a blocking dummy or a tackling dummy for the ones. So the first string defense, I was getting in there. So, Byron Evans and Seth Joyner and Clyde Simmons and all of them could tee off on me. Wes Hop and Andre, they was teeing off on the rooks or the second year vets trying to, you know, earn some time, earn some snaps. So luckily I didn't have anything crazy happen to me, but don't get it twisted. That CTE is real. That is not just a marketing ploy that people talk about and the things that come with it. I have not experienced anything crazy, but I will tell you without a shadow of a doubt, my short-term memory is trash. And I've talked to a lot of other my friends in the same boat. So is that because of football? Probably. But I can walk. My back doesn't lock up. I haven't had a replacement hip or 2 replacement knees or a rehab Achilles. I haven't had anything like that. I was blessed. Never broke a bone. Never tore a knee. Never had anything like that my entire career in football. Little league, high school, college, pro. Never broke or tore a thing. So I count myself in a very, 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 very small percentile of people that got an opportunity to walk away from a game relatively healthy. Jason Kelce, I saw the article this morning about he let the trainer wrap his ankles before he gave his speech because that guy missed the last game because he was getting chemo. So that was kind of a cool moment, but that just kind of goes to the overall point is just, Jason Kelce being that dude. And if you guys saw my video yesterday, like Jason Kelce he is on the pantheon of Philadelphia athletes now, without question. Reggie White, Dr. J, some people would say Pete Rose, a lot of these Philadelphia athletes, Allen Iverson, Brian Dawkins, Trot. He is on that pantheon of Philadelphia athletes. Ron Jaworski. There are some athletes that if you were to go to California, if you were to go to Texas, if you were to go somewhere else, and you say who's the best athletes in Philly, or name a pro player that played in Philly, those are the guys that you would think of. Brian Dawkins, Allen Iverson, Jason Kelce. In my opinion, he is that high up right now, based on the way he went about his business, getting the championship, the attention he got after that, just because of how good he was. Getting married to Kylie, she's a local girl. Went to Cabrini. Everything revolves around Philly, and he doing it the right way. Giving the lady at McDonald's a signed jersey. Has he surpassed Brian Dawkins? Right now, I would say yes. I would say yes. With the hype that he's garnered right now, I would say yes. And I'm saying that just because it's still fresh. So I would give him that. And depending on what he does with it and how much he's involved with with the media and stuff like that. If he does like what Ike did, like Ike stayed in the area, Ike is on the radio. Ike was never a big time player. He started for some years and he was mostly a special teams guy, but everybody knew who Ike was, and he parlayed that into a successful career on the radio. But I would argue that Ike's career now is much bigger than it was when he played, because he stayed in the area and built his following. If Jason Kelce stays in the Philadelphia area, he's going to be huge. But I think he's got that mass appeal. He's got that. He'll be on NFL Network or something like that. He'll be up there with Baldy. To me, he's got that type of personality. And people, it's hard not to like him. So I think people are going to be fighting to get him on a network show or a panel, very similar to what they did with what's the guy from the Rams? Was it Whitworth? Is that his name? The big guy that used to be the tackle for the Rams, played till he was 40. Same type thing. It's hard not to like that guy. Very hard. Like I'm from Cincinnati. Anthony Munoz is arguably the best offensive line to ever play. Anthony Munoz, same type of deal. He was that good, and then he had the personality. He knew what he was talking about. So, but yeah, I think with Jason's in the perfect spot right now. He's going to cherry pick his shots, and he should. He's got the podcast, which is one of the best podcasts on right now. He just retired. Everybody's still wiping away tears from that speech. So he's basically just endeared himself with the female audience, especially after he said what he said about his wife. Come on. Then you still get part of that. I know Taylor Swift said something about it. So you still have that part of it, and all of the people that recognize him just from the Taylor Swift half of it. There will be some spillover from some people, probably older fans and stuff like that, who like Taylor Swift, that know Jason Kelce because of Travis. And he's going to get a contingency of those fans. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Taylor Swift pays. So, I think he's a number one right now. I think Fox Sports, ESPN, NFL Network, Amazon, I think they are all fighting to get him on somebody's panel. And he'll be able to pick his shots. He'll be able to do whatever he wants to do. If he wants to just continue with New Heights and kind of do what Pat McAfee did, where somebody can license his show so he could be a football or, and do some other stuff. I don't know if he want to do that. I'm just putting it out there. It's up to him what he wants to do. Sky's the limit. And he has the opportunity to make more money now than he did when he was playing. Then he's got the whole off season off. He can, spend more time with his girls, getting big, all of that kind of stuff. So listen, man, when you talking about riding off in the sunset, that's exactly what he did. And the speech was just the cherry on top. Can't beat it. Can't beat it. People still wiping their ass from that speech. And I don't know if you saw the only other speech that was like moving like that, in my opinion. There are others, but for me, and I'm saying this, and the reason why I'm saying it is because I was never a big fan of his, was when I saw Michael Irvin's Hall of Fame speech. I wasn't a fan of Michael Irvin's, but that speech was powerful. And what Jason Kelce did yesterday was on that level, in my opinion. Definitely on that level. He couldn't even 5 seconds in, he was struggling. So, but yeah, man, if you gonna have a great career, win a championship, and just walk away and knock it out of the park, he basically did it. He basically did it. There are other people that, maybe have won more championships and things like that. The success level was probably higher. His brother's success level is higher. But for somebody to have endeared himself in Philadelphia and outside of Philadelphia, I don't think there's too many people that have done it better than him. So he still represents Philly. And of course, everybody loves that. And I thought it was interesting. If you heard the speech, I know he was talking to the situation about AJ Brown. When he was talking about, this is what Philadelphia expects. I took that, it was like, yo, he's sending a message to anybody that doesn't like how Philly does his business. He didn't even have to call him out. And it wasn't like a dig, but he just laid it plain. He's like, all they want you to do is work hard and give effort. Not that AJ Brown doesn't do that, but he just made it plain. But what he also did was, at the end of that, he said, for the most part, Philadelphia media, blah, blah, blah. So he hit him on both sides. And I like that he put that little addendum on there. Like, for the most part, the media is great and the fans will love you, because people have to admit, even with the situation with AJ Brown, there is a contingency of Philadelphia fans. They take it to the next level and they go about it the wrong way. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't crazy about going to somebody's job and holding a sign talking about I should be fired. I ought to get off the bus and we'd have been scrapping. Like, you don't know me well enough to do that. You don't know what the situation is, and that kind of gets into the thing with all of the rumors and stuff that were flying. People on the outside have no clue what's going on in the inside of those locker rooms, man. The conversations that are being had, you just don't know. You don't. Yeah, Vince, that's true. They wouldn't, but you can't say that. I deal with what is. I don't deal with the possibilities. You're absolutely right. I don't think they would like Travis Kelce if Jason wasn't his older brother. You're 100% correct, but it don't matter because he is his brother. And there is a special bond, and anybody has ever had a sibling that played sports or the support and everything that you get. I know what my sister used to do. I got a twin sister that went to Kentucky State. I was at Eastern Kentucky, and my twin sister would be at all my games. 45 minutes up the road, she would come to the games and party and all of that kind of stuff. And it was just like that. We were the same way in high school. We used to go out. If I was somewhere, usually the first question was, where your sister at? And it's weird how that happens. So I understand that. You're not wrong, but it is what it is. I think part of Jason's charm is how he treats his brother and all of that kind of stuff. And everything that's come with that. What's going on with his mom. Heck, even his wife Kylie going to the Chiefs game and wearing the UC jacket, University of Cincinnati jacket. I was like, respect. Shout out to the hometown. Because she's a Philly girl. She didn't want to wear Chiefs Nalia. She didn't want to wear a Chiefs jacket. And she supports Travis. She said as much. She said, but nah, I ain't that person. I'm Philly all the way. And immediately, she's a number one in Philadelphia from now on. Kylie Kelce can do no wrong after that. And people will probably bring up that clip, play it at the stadium or something like that. It'll be part of a hype tape. It'll be probably a meme or something. So, yeah, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong, Vince, but it is what it is. And you know what? For the most part, other than, the blip that you had at the Super Bowl when he was yelling at Reed, Travis really don't get into too much trouble. He was kind of a problem child earlier in his career, but he done settled into it and understands, what's going to come of it. So it is what it is, man. Not going to worry about what it should be. It is. And you know what? I've said this before. I give Travis a lot of credit because this relationship with Taylor Swift, he has been navigating that thing masterfully. Now, eventually, maybe they'll break up and then you'll get all of the headlines and stuff like that. But for the most part, for him to do that with her in season and really not have anything crazy pop off, like, bravo, bro. You get the golf clap, man. And meanwhile, you got Micah Parsons and you got Tyreek Hill and Vaughn Miller, and you got everything that's going on all these other podcasts. Meanwhile, he's dating the biggest pop star in the world, and you ain't hearing nothing. The only thing people are doing is bitching about how many times they show her during the game. So props to Travis, man, for navigating that very carefully and keeping it private for the most part. And they doing their thing. So, Travis is gonna have his day. He ain't gonna have no speech like Jason, because Jason pretty much he done broke the mold now. He's done it. So, but yeah, I like Travis. He was a knucklehead when he was at UC, And shoot, speaking of UC, they even shouted out. As soon as I heard it, my ears perked up. He called out Dr. Angelo Colosimo. Dr. Colosimo was one of our orthopedic surgeons when I was at Eastern Kentucky. He knew Dr. Barton and that whole crew at EKU, and he used to go back and forth with University of Kentucky, but he would spend more time at EKU because he liked us. And I used to see Dr. Colosimo on the regular. So when I haven't heard his name in forever. But when he said it, I was like, daggone it, that Dr. Colosimo, he the big wig down at UC. But it was good to hear that and attach a little bit of EKU legacy to Travis Kelce. To Jason Kelce. So, I'm a Kelce fan. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to get a chance to shake hands with him at one of these alumni events. Hopefully, I'll be able to see him and all of that kind of stuff. And we can talk about Cincinnati and Skyline Chili and all of that kind of stuff. Because I know on the podcast, his brother said he don't like it, but that's one of the things we do at home. So I've always been a Kelce fan from that by itself. He was recruited as a running back, man. It's crazy. But, he did it. He did it, man. He walked away from the game. He walked away. And this era is absolutely crazy. So, I had a couple questions later about, am I okay with, is it going to be a big gap? Am I okay with what's going to be left of the offensive line? I'm like, absolutely, dude. Cam Jurgens is plug and play. He's ready to go now. Cam Jurgens could have started last year, in my opinion. I think Cam Jurgens is that good. It gives me even more confidence because because Kelce picked him out, handpicked him. Him and Statler got together and they made that decision. I'm good with that. The only thing we need from Cam, or the one thing that we will be missing next year, is the leadership, not the play. I think Cam is ready to rock and roll. I'm a huge fan of Cam Jurgens. The leadership is what we're going to miss. That presence in the locker room is what we're going to miss. And I already said it. I put a tweet out yesterday. What is the over-under on how many times we're going to see Jason Kelce on the Eagles sideline next year? How many times are we going to see that? Because you already know it's going to happen. If he's not in somebody's booth, he will be on the sidelines with Stout. So, I think he's going to take some time off, spend, 3-4 years with his wife, let his kids grow up, that sort of thing, and don't get it twisted. His wife was a damn good athlete. I believe she played field hockey at Cabrini, but she's an athlete, which means probably one of his daughters is going to be balling. So, nah, I don't, Vince. I do not. I'm telling you, man, Jurgens is ready. He's going to get the obvious comparisons. That ain't nothing you can do about that. But I think Jurgens is going to be as advertised. I don't worry about that at all. That comes with the territory, man. If you can't hang with that, I don't think they're going to be, nowadays, you're always going to have somebody that's going to take that point to the nth degree and just go overboard with it. Oh, they're horrible without Kelce, and every time Cam Jurgens makes a mistake, they're going to always bring up they're missing Jason Kelce. And it's like, if Cam Jurgens was an all-pro, we would still be missing Jason Kelce. But you already know there's going to be people that's going to take that to the next level and just go overboard with it to the point of it's just going to be nauseating. But, I stand by what I said. I like Cam Jurgens. I think he's ready to play. The only thing we'll be missing in the locker room is that leader in the locker room. So it's going to be up to some. Now, here's the way it works. They're going to bring somebody else in. They're going to bring another free agent in, stuff like that. But who's going to be new in the locker room that's going to step up? Because this is a situation where the cream just rises to the top. You can't say who's going to do it. It just has to, it's going to naturally happen. The players in that locker room will know who the leader is. Whether or not he has a C on the chest is irrelevant. The C really is just so the fans can see that. That has no bearing on what the relationships are in the locker room. So, uh-oh. So yeah, man. Yeah, I'm with you. Kelce handpicked Jurgens. I think Jurgens can get there. But even like All Pro, I like, Pro Bowl, All Pro. I know All Pro is when they vote, so all he's got to do is play. But even nowadays, man, being All Pro is all about how much screen time you get. All he has to do is be decent, keep Jalen protected, and we good to go. So he's gonna make some mistakes, but let's not sugarcoat it. Jason Kelce made a lot of mistakes last year, jumping off sides, bad snaps. So if you just swap the names, Cam Jurgens would, he would be getting the arched eyebrow too. But because Jason Kelce's got that legacy behind him, you forgive all of that stuff. But if you're gonna look at the film, Kelce didn't have the greatest of years last year. Let's keep it real. So I think Cam is gonna be fine, man. I think Cam is gonna be fine. So, we still trying to figure out what's gonna happen with Hassan Reddick and DeAndre Swift. How he's playing the long game, and he should. How he's handling his business, the way it should be handled. The same. It's played out so far exactly how I figured. We watched the combine, and of course, just like every year, you got a couple guys that jump out the gym. You had some crazy 40 times. We had 20 athletes that ran sub 4.4. That is ridiculous. That is ridiculous speed. And then, of course, you had Wiggins and Worthy. Wiggins runs a 4.28. And Worthy runs a 4.21. How you run a 4.22? They go back, check the tapes to make sure the time is right, and then they tell you ran faster. His first run was a 4.25, and he said, let me run it again because I can do better. And damn it if he didn't do it. People don't understand how difficult that is to run a second 40 time faster than the first because you put so much effort in that first one. If you notice when all of them people run them 40-yard dashes, the second time almost always is worse. There's only like maybe a handful of players, maybe 5 players out of all them athletes that ran that improved on their second run. That is very difficult to do. It is a technique thing, and it's just hard to do. And not only did he get better, he got that much better. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. So we saw all of those times. There's a couple running backs. I saw that running back that Garendo that played for Louisville, transferred from Wisconsin. 5'10 and a half, 221 pounds, 4.33. Now, when I went back and looked at his tape, I wasn't impressed. He's a physical type runner. He had opportunities in the highlight tape because, again, I was watching highlights. I wasn't watching film. There is a difference. You can't study somebody and all you watching is the YouTube highlight tape. But I wanted to get a sense of what kind of runner he was, and I wasn't impressed. He's a physical runner. He's a good short yardage guy, but you give him some room, he can run away from you. And he ran a 4.33 at 420. I'm sorry, at 220, 221. That is impressive. You had all of them fast linebackers running low 4.5s. A lot of speed, man. Chop Davis. And what was the other kid? He ran one of the first ones. I think he ran like a 4.53 defensive end at like 267 or something like that. It was ridiculous. A lot of speed in the combine. A lot of speed. The kid from the quarterback from Tennessee, throwing the ball out the gym, throwing the ball 62 miles an hour. That's a new thing that they put the speed gun on your passes now. So it was cool. I like what they did with the combine, letting fans in and all that kind of stuff, applauding when you get a good 40 time and all that type. I thought that was cool. And next year it'll be even more people there. And it's going to get to the point where the combine is going to be packed. There's probably going to be 10,000, 20,000 people at the combine, filling that whole lower ring with fans. That'll happen. Guarantee you it'll happen. Unless they stop it. But if you're making money like that, they ain't gonna stop it. That's free NFL merch they can sell, stuff that they can sell exclusive to the combine. The NFL will find a way to make money off of it. I ain't mad at them. So we got some good prospects going forward. It's Howie season. So I know he's gonna be busy doing what he does best. We got a couple teams. I think there's 3 or 4 teams interested in Hassan Reddick. The only thing we need to know is the price. How much is he going to ask for? Because I think if the Eagles can get anywhere close to what some of these other teams are offering, I think, in my opinion, Hassan Reddick would want to stay home. He would want to stay here. If he would give us the hometown discount, take it. He'll be 29 this year. I'm good with that. He hasn't done anything but just produce. Hasn't really gotten hurt. You had the thing with the thumb this year. But for the most part, he's been a healthy player. He's been impactful. He's been productive. What else do you want? Because I don't think Nolan Smith is ready. I think Nolan Smith needs to put on a little weight. I know he ran like a 4.4 at the combine, but if Nolan Smith can put on like 15 pounds and still run like a low 4.5, I'm good with that. And that's plenty fast for him to do what he needs to do on a line of scrimmage. But in my opinion, right now, Nolan Smith is just a tad too light in my book. He is wiry, he's bendable, and it's just when offensive lineman gets his hands on him, he's going to lose the battle of physics because he's just not a big dude. He's going to beat some people, but is he going to beat offensive tackles enough to where he's going to be considered a threat? Let me say it like that. Can he put up Hassan Reddick type numbers? That's all I want to know. Can he get 8 to 10 sacks next year? That's what I want to know. So I like Nolan Smith. I thought Nolan Smith was the leader of the rookie crew last year. And then he just didn't play a lot. Now, the bad part about all of this is we got some people that we still have question marks about. Is it because that they weren't good enough to play, or is it because we had the crap show that was our defensive coordinators last year? That plays a lot to it. Were they playing him right? Were they using him correctly? Were they dropping him back in the coverage too much? All of those questions are legit questions, man. All of them. So we got a lot of question marks that Vic Fangio has to answer and Kellen Moore have to answer. But the biggest difference, I think, is going to be on defense. I think we'll be fine on offense. Jalen has shown that he is adept at learning offenses. And he is better when he's in the second year of an offense, when he's already got the answers to the test. He's proven that. And then here we go again, getting another offensive coordinator. So right back at square one. But I think Kellen Moore will put him in a better place than what we did last year. So, yeah, man. I'm right there with you, Dave. You're going to keep hearing about this stuff all week and into next week. So, he's just that dude. He's just that dude, man. So, also lately, I've been following. If you don't follow my buddy Ian Cummings, he is a draft analyst for Pro Football Network. Not sponsored, but he's a friend of mine. He's been on my show before, and I listen to his expertise when it comes to doing the research on players. He watches the film, he watches game film, he goes deep. Then you multiply that by his study of analytics and things of that nature, and he comes up with the draft grades and all of that kind of stuff. And he's good at what he does. I'd used his mock draft website for the first time today, and that was funny. So I think this week I am going to come out with a Pro Fan Talk mock draft just for fun. You never know what's going to happen with this stuff. I don't know if Chicago is the keystone. It looks like they are going to select Caleb, which means then it's going to go down to what is the Patriots going to do. Are they going to take a quarterback, or are they going to take Marvin Harrison Jr.? So we'll see what's going to happen. A lot of stuff can still happen. Now you're going to start seeing the subterfuge and people throwing false signals out so they can protect their draft picks. So, and once again, I don't know what's going on in Dallas. Jerry Jones is talking again. Like everything is cool, and it's like, it's not, bro. It's not. So I saw the one thing the other day. I had to laugh, and I was like, people just taking this too far. Somebody posted a picture of Dak Prescott getting a haircut, and the way he had his beard trimmed looked very similar to Jalen Hurts. But the way Jalen Hurts trims his beard is very similar to a million other people out there in the world. So, what's up, Kevin? What's up, Kev? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, bro. Thank you for joining me. Please subscribe and all that kind of good stuff, man. Good to see you, brother. Hit me up, man. Let's catch up. One of my buddies from Velocity back in the day, back in the training days. Good to see you, bro. I appreciate you. But yeah, man, it's the mock drafts are fun. But now we got kind of like the first, the dominoes have not fallen yet, but they're just kind of getting ready to tip them over with that combine. So that's gonna change some people's minds. My guy Devin Leary had a great combine. He got a little screen time and got some positive words said about him on the telecast. So that was always, good to hear, especially when you have gone full circle with somebody you coached when they were a kid, 10 years old, and you watched them. I only coached them for 2 years, but I watched them move up through GT football, then go to Highland, or not Highland, but Timber Creek, then go to NC State, then transfer to Kentucky. I got a chance to watch the whole process. So that was cool. Proud of that kid, Devin. Hopefully he'll get a call on Sunday or on draft day. So we'll see. So a lot of stuff still going on, man. But appreciate you guys for joining me. You know how we do. Get started around 12:10. I get done right around now. So you got plenty of time to finish your sandwich, wash your hands, and get back to work. All right. Tomorrow night, Pro Fan Talk, my show, will be on this channel with me at 7:00 as usual. Trying to do some new things. If anybody's got any ideas or feedback on some new content, let me know. We're gearing up for March Madness, and I'm telling you right now, I am going to watch men's March Madness, but I will be invested in the women's tournament. I will be actively watching the women's tournament. I'm going to be watching both, but my energy is going to the women's game. My odds-on favorite, I don't see anybody. If they stay healthy, I do not see a team beating Dawn Staley in South Carolina. I don't see it. Caitlin Clark is good, but her team is not up to her level. if that makes sense. If you can stop Caitlin Clark or stop everybody else, you got a good chance of beating Knox. South Carolina, they are solid across everybody, and they got a lot of height, and those big girls know how to play. Most of those big girls, and I'm talking about 6'3", got handles. You get that kid Pow Pow. You get that freshman, daggone it, I forget her name, but she got handles. I just think they have a better team, and they're going to be good, man. And so you got basketball coming up. I done started watching NASCAR again. Dude, I haven't even gotten to Jonathan Brooks yet, so we'll get to that. I'm probably going to talk about him a little bit tomorrow night, so make sure you stay tuned. But I got to get up out of here, let you guys get back to work. Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you, and I will see you guys tomorrow night. And also, don't forget, live at lunch, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at this time, 12:10 to 12:50. All right? Make sure you subscribe. I appreciate you, and I will talk to you guys later. Go Birds.